Hi folks, it's Coach Kelvin here from the We Run Virtual Run Club and We Run Coach for Leeds and surrounding areas as well as online coaching. In this little video, I'd just like to share some thoughts and give some ideas on how to check in on your caloric intake. So basically, just to make sure that as a runner training that you're eating enough. Because what I do find sometimes, I find that a lot of runners just kind of eat what the rest of the family does, and they might not, the rest of the family might not do as much exercise as the runner, or some runners eat what work colleagues do, not taking into consideration that they might be like commuting to work every day on foot, walking, or running. So I'm going to use myself as an example, and the reason I'm going to do this, I'm not trying to make any specific recommendations in this video. I'm just trying to give some ideas, but I will give a rough guide in terms of caloric intake for females as well, just to add some context there. And the context of myself, I'm 5'6", 68 kilos, and 51 years old. And we can go on the sort of rough idea that, sort of general day-to-day intake for a male is about 2,500 calories and a female about 2,000 calories. And then what I do, and again, this is just rough, it's not an exact science, but I found something that works for me. It's a little bit of an experiment, as we know, that I add 100 calories for every mile of easy running that I do. And I add 125 calories for every mile that I do that's more intense, so anything that's more than zone 2. So 1,000 calories times 30 easy miles a week is 3,000, and then 125 calories times 10 miles of intensity a week is 1,250. I do 2 strength sessions a week. I add about 300 calories for each one of those. So that works out at 86 calories a day for my strength and 607 extra calories a day for my running. So that works out at 3,193 calories a day if I only include my running and my strength training. So I would suspect that will be a little bit light for me. And the reason for that is I'm fairly active. My job is actually a desk job, and then some of my other work I'm actually running, so I count that in my running. But I am generally active. I do sort of get up and do other things. So I aim, they're the things we have to take into consideration: active job, walking, other exercise, like cycling, kayaking, other things like that. So I try to aim for, in my current training, somewhere between 3,200 and 3,500 calories at the moment each day. And what I don't do is I do pad a little bit of that around exercise, workouts and longer runs. But what I don't do is decrease that in deload weeks and days off. And they're the times when I want to sort of build back up strong. So I actually keep my caloric intake fairly consistent. It doesn't really jump up and down all the time with my exercise. And, I'm not a huge fan of calories, even though we've talked about calories quite a lot in this video, because it depends what those calories are coming from. So in the next video, we're going to talk about the macro split. So carbohydrate, fat and protein. And then in the next video, I'm going to talk about hydration in a little bit more detail, because none of this really works very well if we're dehydrated. So it's sometimes worth just checking in every now and then to see where you are. Maybe just log some food, as I mentioned in the last video, for a few days. Get a ballpark, roughly work out where we think we should be, just to make sure that we're not under fueling exercise, and to a certain degree making sure that we're not over fueling as well. But in all honesty, there's a very large proportion of runners that under fuel, and to a certain degree it can be one of the biggest causes of stagnation in training, a little bit of sort of burnout, feeling a little bit lethargic, not really feeling that you enjoy running, and also things like injury. It's not uncommon where we look back and review a runner that's having challenges in the training where we've not really changed anything too much in the training, and then when we sort of dig into it a little bit, we work out that it's maybe that they're just not hydrating well and eating enough. So this is general guidance. I'm not trying to make specific recommendations. I'm just saying that what I do and saying that it's a good idea to check in on this periodically. So I hope that makes some sort of sense. And if you've got any questions, please just pop them in the comments below. And for now, happy running.